please, you can use them. And of course, you can play around, you can use this system to generate the things which you can then play around with our other analytical tools. Here you can see our 3D-dimensional heating maps, which allows you to easily understand the solar and wind performance of the building. Of course, we sometimes have our own little accidents. So sometimes we have also the problems with analyzing those data. Here, for example, something went terribly wrong with our generating process, but you will not encounter them anymore because we catch it before you do. So as for me, I am developing our new floor planner solution, which gives you the opportunity to check various building tenancy scenarios. The system proposes you the initial subdivision of each building block, and is directly connected with the information from the, let's say, higher levels of the design process. So in this case, it would be the building blocks. Of course, system propose you some initial answers. But
wat ik niet kan begrijpen is van waarom dit.
In the end, you have the freedom of creativity because each individual floor can be edited up to the level of individual floors. To tell you the truth, the development process was quite a journey, like starting from the initial prototype. It took a little less than 3 months to actually finish it until the production level. And to tell you the truth, I'm quite proud from our little achievement. And yeah, like you can check how it works in our, like, we are planning to put it into the online version just like quite shortly. We also are currently working on connecting this system with other analytical tools. So, for example, the great example of this is the connection of the system with real-time daylight autonomy prediction. Actually, you can get more info about this in our white paper section of our site, where you can get more technical data and how we actually do it. It's quite interesting because we are using machine learning to achieve the real-time performance. So all of those systems gives you the, as I said, walks you through the process of designing from the urban to basically building unit scales. And this is a great part for me because I believe that computational design should be connected with human decision-making process and thus improve the quality of the entire like the design solutions. And because of that belief, I actually do what I do in DBF. So going back to my initial answer, initial concept of auto-designing the architecture. Well, I believe that until or as long as the current level of development, AI development, will not reach the level of so-called strong AI, as long human beings will be involved or will decide about the most important design decisions. Well, I believe that the computer is just another design tool which should be used properly. And that's the case with the computational design. With it comes a great responsibility, especially for designers. So my final answer for my big question is that there is no architecture without architects. Architects just need proper tools for the job, and I believe that well, DBF is a correct tool. So please go and try it. Thank you for listening to my short story. Hopefully it was not boring, it was quite interesting. So as I said before, now I would like to, or we would like here in DBF, hear about your impressions of our work. So without further ado, I'm giving the microphone to you. Thanks. Again.
Thank you so much, Maciej. That was inspirational. We have quite a few questions coming our way. Getting right into it, we have Mr. Ramanathan. Says, thanks, Maciej, for the overview of the floor plan tool. Just a small question. What constraints were fed into the system for flow plans optimization? Was it a multi-criteria optimization? Yeah, thanks.
You're asking for my PhD or the DBF tool? If you're asking about my PhD, so yes, it was multi-criterion evolutionary algorithm. And yeah, it was based on some rules, which actually we are using also in our floor planner tool, because the constraints which we are currently using are the shapes, like basically the connectivity of each individual unit to the circulation. So this is the most important, as well as the basic dimensions between each unit. So for example, the unit cannot be too long, too short. It cannot have, let's say, it cannot be too small in terms of areas, and it also cannot be too, let's say, too big. We also use the system which gives you the possibility to actually decide how many types of units you want per floor or per individual building. So for example, if you want to have, in case of residential buildings, if you want to have 3 types of different flats, let's say, you can do that. You can describe their areas, as well as their, let's say, the total ratio of their areas, the area of a given type of the room, of the unit, to the total usable area of the building. Of course, then we are going to implement more fancy constraints. Please be like, which we are going to reveal in the near future. So please keep up with our
Great
communication.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Maciej. We have quite a few questions. We have Ricky Fritz. Can we keep our BIM project live with DBF, or is there a point where you leave DBF and have to develop up in ArchiCAD BIM? If that is the correct.
I can jump on that question.
Go for it.
So we developed something called DBF Hub, which connects from your desktop software to, it communicates with DBF. And basically it uses the same technology as, say, like Dropbox desktop. And basically enables this live communication. Currently, the communication is one way, so you can go from DBF directly into BIM, and you can also update it in real time. So as you change your design, it will resync in ArchiCAD. The two-way connection is something we're looking at in the future, but currently we haven't developed, but it's definitely in our product roadmap.
Cool. Thanks, Agil. Another question from Philippe Morgan de Riviere. How do you see DBF compared to SpaceMaker AI? What factors do you see that can make you come on top or differentiate yourselves from them?
Can I jump? I want to jump on that one. Sorry, Matcha.
Yeah, please do.
We get asked that question a lot. I would say what we do really well is connecting the urban scale to the unit scale. So what we call is that we do generative design, where we're able to do a lot of different variations in the type of buildings. At the same time, we can go into super detailed. So typically you would have to choose, like, can I have a lot of variety or a lot of detail? But we've developed some tricks using types of like design grammar, procedural, this kind of like procedural generation, and all this kind of good stuff that allow us to be detailed and flexible. And I think that's a kind of a big leap we've made as a company. So we're kind of taking us all the way from like urban planning all the way into like apartment layouts. And then from there you can go into like your schematic design or DD in BIM.
Cool. Thanks, Agil. Another question, Julia says, hello from Paris. Her question is, proper CFD wind studies normally takes hours to run. How is it possible to see live immediate results? This
is our little secret. No, actually what I said is, this is quite interesting because in order to get the real-time result, we are using machine learning. So the process basically looks like we do not simulate, we predict, but those predictions are almost as good as simulation. Actually, they are the same as simulation. That's why, and because machine learning is much faster than simulation, we get those results in like during like 1 second or even less. So yeah, that's possible.
We also publish white papers about our work. So the CFD one, when we release the feature, we'll also release a white paper, and it'll explain all of our methodology and our benchmark against simulations. So one thing we found when we talk to our users is that people are willing to give up some level of kind of accuracy, like within a few percent. It's okay if they get the real-time result, because machine learning is just to get a kind of quick sense of the performance, and so it's a trade-off. Yeah.
And actually, like more about our methodology, you can find out in this white paper about daylight autonomy prediction. Actually, there you can see like entire workflow what we did.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. So
yeah.
Well, it's not quite. It's
very
super
interesting. Yeah.
Great. We have Isamu Goyati say, are you also looking to provide generative design for bigger scales? So instead of the floor plan of a building, it generates the floor plan of a public space. I love what I'm seeing. Keep up the good work.
Well, as I said, we like our system gives you the possibility to like go through from urban to urban scale up to the details. So yeah, like our system also handles the urban design, especially like we have this predictive like urban prediction, which mines a lot of data from different sources and basically compose it into one place where you can actually get the general idea what your context can look like and what how it can influence. For example, we use information from like information of like what types of buildings are around, or what is the height of those buildings, what is the transportation network, what are those points of interest around. All those things come together and give you the general idea about your context. And also this is quite interesting. Like you can use your own geo-located data and put it straight into DBF and connect with other sources of, let's say, knowledge. And then you can actually using the our system to check various scenarios also in urban scale. And
can I jump in? Sorry, look, actually, I want to jump in this one. I think also like the way we've developed our system, a lot of the strategies, the way we combine it together, it works at different scales. So the same tool that you would use to kind of manipulate a floor plan, you could do it to manipulate an internal layout, or even zooming out how you subdivide a site. Also, same with like how we procedurally generate like an entire building with like balconies. You could even zoom in on like the facade and use the same kind of concept, which is like a design grammar. And so we've been very, I would say, clever in how we've kind of thought this thing through, how it could scale and be flexible in the future to add more types of forms or work at different scales. Sorry to jump in, Macho, but
no,
you say that's accurate? Yeah.
Just a few more last questions I'll take up. Another question is, what type of building shapes and strategies are your favorite? This is, I think, specifically to Maciej's presentation.
Maybe Tejas.
Yeah.
Tejas, you want to jump on that one?
I think
actually, I asked the question.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I was asking the audience what type of buildings and shapes do they like? Do they have a favorite architect or particular styles they want to see? So what we are doing is we are almost creating like a library of recipes which you can combine together, different ingredients. We are treating styles and design strategies almost like recipes and ingredients. So we have different typologies, modifiers, booleans that you can combine together. And we see a lot of potential in that. And that is where actually we are engaging with our community also. We talk to our community on Discord, and we interact with them, and oftentimes we ask them what type of buildings they would like to see and so on, because it's designed in this modular fashion. It's so expandable. So
and actually,
I think
to tell you the truth, I'm sometimes playing with the system around, and it gives me, even I know the system, it gives me some like clever answers and create, like, basically it's quite creative. So yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think what's really cool is by using a design grammar, you can kind of like tweak like what are the kind of combination of typologies, and then get to something that kind of approximates different architects. So we were like playing around this morning, and we were like, okay, that's like a Soviet like block. This is a UN studio building. This is like OMA. And this all kind of like links back. There's a kind of tradition in computational design that goes way back to Jose Duarte's work, where he created this design grammar to replicate the designs of Alvaro Siza. And I see like what we're doing kind of in that lineage. I know Matcha knows that work, right?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Just the final question, I think quite a philosophical one. Will this lead to architects' jobs becoming obsolete?
No, that was my main point. You cannot, like, you treat all those things as just another tool, design tool. Like in the past, you had a pencil, then you had AutoCAD, so now you have DBF. It's just another proper tool for the job, and it gives you the possibility to make just better decisions. But those decisions, design decisions, are yours, not the computer's.
I would like to add on a bit to that.
Oh my, okay, fine. I'll go
I have a
loud.
more of a nerdy analogy, which is I bet most of you have seen Iron Man, and Iron Man has this AI system called Jarvis that it helps him. It can do the calculations for him, but ultimately Iron Man is the hero, and that is what our system is. It's like a Jarvis to the architects.
I'll jump in. I'm going to jump in. I think like today, like there's this data overload that we face. So the role of the architect is also evolving. And I think we need tools to cope with the amount of data and how to work with it and how to make the most informed decisions. So I think to deal with the amount of information that's generated, there's a demand for new types of tools, which we say tool, but like almost like a platform, like digital platforms are the future of our industry. I believe that 100%. So that's why we're doing this.
We do have some more questions come our way, but I'm afraid we are running short of time. So that's it from our side. Thank you everyone for joining in. I'm sure you must have seen in the poll that we are open to having workshops in case you are from a firm that is interested in what we do. We'd be more than happy to give you a workshop and tell you more. If you simply just want to know more about what we have to offer, please get in touch. Or if you just want to say hi, you can do that too. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in, and yeah, all the best. Take care.